Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Cotton. I look after sales for Pure Channel Apps. This afternoon, I'd like to go through our News on Demand platform briefly, giving you a quick overview and then take you into a demonstration of the platform. Hopefully, this should take no longer than 30 minutes. Thank you for joining me, and if you have any questions, please do ask them through the question or chat facility. So just to start off with, just a background about our company, for those of you that haven't known Pure Channel Apps up until now. Pure Channel Apps has been in the marketplace since 2011. We primarily develop and deploy software products. We have a social media software product called Social on Demand, which is a through partner social media platform, providing content from a vendor to a partner for them to post on their own social media accounts. We also provide a number of partner portals to clients. Partner portals might include things like deal registration, MDF approvals, integration into incentives, resource libraries, etc. That's a full content management system that allows our clients to build their own pages as well as deploy the pages we've built for them. Finally, News on Demand, which we'll go into more detail in a second. Most of our clients are global clients based either out in the US or in EMEA. And we're deploying News on Demand for several of the clients listed below, including people like VMware, SAP, and Brocade. So what is News on Demand? We built News on Demand over 6 years ago, really based on our experience of developing newsletters for clients from a services perspective, and having that one-size-fits-all newsletter that were going out to the clients, no matter who they were in terms of their role, no matter what products they were selling, what regions or markets they were selling into, etc. And what we were seeing was a decreasing open rate and click rates on those particular newsletters. So what we wanted to do, first of all, is enable the user to self-select the content that they wanted to receive. So effectively create their own customized newsletter or their own personalized newsletter that they would receive when they want, whether that might be daily, weekly, monthly, or any other frequency that you might want to set up in the system. So enabling the user to have a personalized experience of a newsletter based on what they're doing, how they're doing it, what products they're selling, what markets, etc. So that really helped with the engagement of the newsletter, the open rates and the click rates on those newsletters, as is indicated in the slide. From a content author's perspective, we also saw how much time it took to actually create and deliver a newsletter. So, a typical process might be a person creates an article, that article's got to be approved, maybe for compliance, maybe at a global level, maybe at a regional level. Then you've got to get the other articles together, build a template, design a template, put the articles into that template to get the overall newsletter approved, maybe again globally, maybe regionally, and then get that newsletter out the door to the right database of people. That process could take anything up to 3 weeks. And obviously by that time, any article that was created 3 weeks ago is now well out of date. So what we wanted to do is embed a template within the system that would allow you to write your article. That article would go directly into that template. And if a user wanted to receive it today, they would receive that article today. If it was going to wait till the end of the week or the end of the month, based on their preferences, then it would go out at the end of the month with any other news articles at that stage. Also, there's an embedded workflow process. So if you want to create an article and get somebody to approve it for compliance, then it can go through to that user for approval. It can also then go through to regional approval for either localization or regional approval before it goes out to the users within those different regions. So there's a workflow process, and you can obviously track where that article is in that process and who's next to approve it. So that really helps increase the efficiency of the content authoring team and enable an article to get out of the door much more rapidly than it was in the past. So that's a little overview. I'm going to take you into the actual platform itself. And really, there's a couple of sides to the platform. One is the user's perspective on the newsletter. So this is one of the examples of a newsletter. Really, with that newsletter, it's down to you to define the header. So this area where we've got the VMware banner at the top, you can put whatever you like in there. It's typically a static header on a monthly basis, and ideally it would be a global standard for all of your partners. Within that, there's always an opportunity for any user to change their news. So really one of the things we do when we deploy this is obviously give it a big promotion, big push to all of the audience to let them know that you've listened to what they've been saying in terms of getting personalized content, and they can now come into the system and self-select the content that they want to receive from you and tailor their particular newsletter. So that's within the change news. And each time they come back into the newsletter, they can change their news at any particular stage. At the bottom of the newsletter is obviously the footer, and these are often different for different regions and territories. Then in the middle is where the articles will drop into that newsletter template based on the articles that the content author is creating. And those could be 3-column articles, as you see here. They could be 2-column articles going across, or even 1-column articles. The ones you see here, we've got the image at the top with a link, we've got a title, and then we've got the actual short article itself here. You might then have a click to read more information, and that more information could be sitting on your .com site or sitting in your partner portal. And when you're creating the article, you would create in our system the short article as well as the long article, or you can create the long article at the same time. So different types of content in there, different information that you might be receiving. So that's the VMware template. This is a mock-up of the Juniper template, which will go into place shortly. Again, the header is slightly different. You've got a 3-column article at the top, image, title, and then short article, and potentially a link to the longer article. And then you've got some 2-column articles and some 1-column articles fitting around those 2-column articles. So it's making the best fit of that based on what the user is subscribing to and based on what the content author is providing to those users. Again, at the bottom, your own design for your own template at the bottom of that newsletter. So that's a couple of examples of the newsletter. As I mentioned, the user gets the opportunity to change the preferences. And within the VMware system, those preferences look something like this. So you have your content areas of interest, software-defined data centers, business ability, etc. And the user can opt in or opt out of those different areas. They've also got a competency area. This could be a roles or verticals area that they can opt into or opt out of. And finally, they've got a news item down at the bottom. So these are the different types of news items that VMware are sending out. And the user, again, can choose to ignore that content. They can choose to receive it weekly. They can choose to receive it monthly. Those frequencies, again, are entirely down to you as to what your settings are within your own systems. At the bottom here, we have corporate news. This is an area where VMware have decided that they don't want to allow them to ignore this content. So this is forced through to the user unless they decide to opt out of the entire newsletter down at the bottom here. If they do opt out of the newsletter, depending on how we're integrated with the data of record, that information would go back to the data of record, or we would provide a report back to our clients indicating who's unsubscribed from that particular newsletter. So this is where the user can come in and self-select those different areas. Again, once they've self-selected that, then they'll receive the newsletter and that personalized experience of the newsletter. They'd also receive in the portal their latest news based on whatever they should be providing and whatever they're opting to provide. So here I can see my latest news based on my preferences that I've set up within my own system. I can also see in this portal the most read articles, so I can see the ones that have got the most interest, and then some other articles sitting around that and a banner. This is a portal that we're providing to VMware. Again, we can either provide a standalone portal, or we can integrate the portal into an existing partner portal. So you can either have an integrated view, or you can have a standalone news area. Within the portal that we provide to VMware, again, you've got this sort of homepage where it's got your latest news and latest emails. You've got My News, which has got all the articles, and you can filter, search for any of the archived articles there. You've also got a resource library, and the resource library is any asset or any other piece of information that you might want to provide to these particular partners. So I've got some assets here. And again, from a reporting perspective, you can see if any users downloaded them, read them, commented on them, etc. And then we've got to contact us. So if they have any questions about the portal or about the system, they can write some answers in there, questions in there, and send them through to either the VMware contact, or if there's a technical issue, send it through to us for any technical issues they might have. So that's the portal. And again, several of our clients have integrated or provided single sign-on to that portal, and several clients have done it as a standalone news portal that the users would access. So those are the three main components to the user side of things. One is the newsletter. The other is the preferences. And then finally, the portal where they can come and read any news through that portal versus through the newsletter. If I just jump into the vendor side, so the admin side of the platform, this is where you're going to create the content, and you're also going to see the reports on anything that's happened with any of the articles. So if I look in here, just some dashboards in there, some company dashboards telling me what's happening to people. If I look at the articles dashboard, I can see the latest articles that have gone out, who they've gone to, the open rates, the click rates, the people that have come in through the portal versus through the newsletter, and then the countries and regions they might have gone out to. And if I drill down into one of those particular articles, I can see in here who's created it, which audience has it been sent out to, and which categories has it gone out to, what does the HTML version and the text version looks like. And then if people have approved it regionally, then I can see their approvals. So if somebody from France, for instance, had approved it and translated it, I could view that different version in here, but I could report up on a global level of that overall article, even though it's been localized and approved at a local level as well. Then you can get the reporting. So I can see my opens, non-opens, clicks, non-clicks, and sents. I can download that report into Excel, see their email address, first name, last name, whatever data that you're providing to us can come through in that report and be provided to whoever it needs to be provided to. You can also create a subgroup based on whoever's read that article. We can create a subgroup of those users and send out a subsequent article to those particular people. So that's a bit about the reporting. So lots of reporting on what the users are looking at, what their preferences might be in terms of their communication preferences, what they're reading, what they're opening, etc. In terms of creating that particular article, this is the area where you create the article. And we have two options. We have an article which goes into the newsletter, or we have a one-off emails just below that. Same basic principle in terms of how you would do that. First of all, we have the campaign. So if you want to attach it to a campaign and do some reporting on a particular campaign, like you're creating this content all in August, then you can do that reporting. We also have the title here. And this is, again, for reporting perspective, so we can see that title and do the reporting on that. Below that, you can select a group of users. And within our system, again, we typically either integrate into your sales record of choice, or we upload the data into our system. You can then create groups of users and be very specific and targeted on those groups, whether that be to distributors, to specific systems integrators, to channel partners within a certain region, or roles within a certain channel partner, etc. So you can be very specific with the groups that you're creating in the system here, very targeted, or obviously keep it very open and send it to everybody you want to send it to. So that's the first area there, to select the groups. You could alternatively use some of the filtering here and allow and send it to those people that want to receive English content in APJ that are a certain partner type or partner tier. So do different options there. Then you would select the content type. So what type of content is it? It's storage and availability and hyper convergent, etc. And also the news item. So what type of news is it? Is it a legal document, or is it a sales news or training, enablement piece of information, etc.? And these two are the areas where the users would be opting in or opting out of those types of information. So this is now matching what the user wants and who you're sending that piece of content to. As I come down here, I've got my option to either have this article as a 3-column going all the way across, as we saw in the VMware option here, so 3 columns there, or you can have it as a 2-column, so it's just going 2/3 the way across the page, or a 1-column fitting in around that. Okay, you can also have an image in that, as we saw with the VMware option. So down here we've got our new article title, and that will drop into the newsletter. Will also drop into the portal as the title alongside the image that you may have selected up here. Then you've got your new article down here and all the information you might want to write in there. It's obviously a WYSIWYG editor, so you can just type in the information, create any links, etc. in there, and that will automatically create the HTML page as well as creating the text version that goes in the newsletter. So that's the article itself. So really the focus for the content author is to select the group of users they want to send it through to, whether it be regionally, product related, different type of partner, etc. Then select the type of content it is, and then write the article down here. Once they've written the article, added any images in there, they can also decide if this is going out globally. Maybe the Japan partners want a text version, and you can add that in there. Or maybe they even want to create a longer version, so a link to a long version which will sit in the partner portal. And again, you can do that within our system if you wish to. Finally, you can prioritize it, so I can have it at the highest priority, so it'll sit at the top of the page, or a normal priority, and then it'll fit into that newsletter wherever the best fit is, based on it being a 1-column or a 2-column or 3-column article. You can schedule it and expire the newsletter. So if it is a time-dependent event and you don't want it sitting on your partner portal forever, then you can make it expire so it disappears from that area. You can finally test the email, both the HTML version, the text version, and preview the long document if you've written a long document. Finally, down at the bottom here, you can send a test to yourself, and then you can send it for approval. So you can either send it for regional approval, send it for global approval, save it as a draft, etc. Once you send it for approval, the users that are set up in the system to receive that content and approve it will receive a notification, be told there is an article to be approved, and then they can go through and edit it and approve it on their side of things. So this really allows, with the approval process, allows you to send to either people for compliance or use an agency to create the article and then approve it internally in the organization, or potentially send it regionally and have the regional teams localize it, translate it, and approve it at their local level. Many options for different clients that we've got in there. Within the admin side, you've obviously always got the archives of all the content, and also the partners, the users would also receive the articles, again, based on whatever they're subscribing to. So a few different options on that side of things. Finally, in terms of the resource library, you can report, upload, etc. on the resource library. So in here, I can see my latest assets that are being added to the system, when they were added, and then who's downloaded or how many downloads there's been, and any feedback that's been provided on those particular assets. And of course, I can change these, upload different versions, upload new images, upload new documents into that resource library at the same time. And when I upload them, I can be very targeted again on who I want to send them through to. So I can tag it to say this is just to a certain type of partner or a certain company, just for my Accenture partners or Accenture users, or it's for all of my channel partners, etc. So you can be very targeted with that, pick that asset, and make sure it just goes through to the right users within the system. Okay, that's just about brings me to the end of a very quick overview and demonstration of the platform. If there are any questions, please do let me know. Otherwise, I will wrap things up and let everybody get on with their day. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any questions at the moment. So at this stage, I'm just going to wrap things up. If anybody does want to get in touch with me, again, my my details are on this screen here. So you can reach me through my Twitter account, through my LinkedIn account, and my email address is mikec@purechannelapps.com. mikec@purechannelapps.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and if you've got any questions, please let me know. Thank you.